The most dangerous man in the bloodline may have just declared war on the entire family. On August 17th, Roman Reigns was dropped. The Usos were laid out. Solo Sikoa walked away, standing tall alongside LA Knight. But none of that was the biggest story coming out of Monday Night Raw. The biggest story was Jacob Fatu. Because while Roman Reigns was being destroyed in the middle of the ring, the Samoan Werewolf stood perfectly still and watched it happen. No rescue, no attack, no loyalty, nothing. Now Jacob Fatu has finally broken his silence. And if his words are any indication, the bloodline may already be beyond saving. Welcome back to the Ringside Observer. Today we're breaking down why Jacob Fatu refused to save Roman Reigns, what his shocking comments reveal about the future of the bloodline, and why the tribal chief may have just created the most dangerous enemy of his entire career. The August 17th edition of Monday Night Raw was supposed to be another victory for Roman Reigns. The tribal chief had a plan. Solo Sikoa had been defeated by Jey Uso. The rebellious family member was being dragged back into the bloodline. Roman was ready to remind everyone why he still controlled the most powerful faction in WWE. Everything was going according to plan until it wasn't. Roman humiliated Solo in front of the entire WWE universe. Jacob Fatu attacked on command. The Usos stood proudly beside their tribal chief, and then everything exploded. Solo Sikoa turned on Roman Reigns. LA Knight stormed into the fight. The bloodline fell apart in seconds. But while chaos filled the ring, one man stood motionless. Jacob Fatu. The same Jacob Fatu who had spent months destroying Roman's enemies. The same Jacob Fatu who was supposed to be the bloodline's ultimate weapon. The same Jacob Fatu who had been presented as Roman's most dangerous enforcer. He did absolutely nothing. And that's where this story gets interesting, because Jacob's silence may have said more than any promo ever could. Think about everything that's happened since Jacob joined the bloodline. After losing tribal combat, he was forced to acknowledge Roman Reigns. He publicly accepted Roman as his tribal chief. He followed orders. He attacked whoever Roman told him to attack. He sacrificed his own identity for the family. But what did he get in return? Respect? Recognition? Appreciation? Not exactly. Over the past several weeks, Roman Reigns consistently treated Jacob like muscle rather than family. Whenever the bloodline celebrated victories, the spotlight always found Roman and the Usos. Whenever important decisions were made, Jacob wasn't treated as an equal. He was treated as a weapon, a tool, a soldier. And on August 17th, that frustration finally reached its breaking point. During the segment, Roman openly praised the Usos. He elevated them. He celebrated them. Meanwhile, Jacob stood in the background watching everything unfold. The man who had sacrificed the most was once again standing in the shadows. That image told a story all by itself. For months, Jacob Fatu had been giving everything to the bloodline. But in Roman Reigns' world, giving everything is never enough. Roman always demands more loyalty, more obedience, more sacrifice. Eventually, every member of the bloodline reaches a point where they ask the same question. What am I actually getting in return? Jey Uso asked it. Jimmy Uso asked it. Solo Sikoa asked it. Now Jacob Fatu appears to be asking it too. And that's why his actions on Raw felt so significant. When Roman Reigns needed him most, Jacob made a choice. Not by attacking, not by speaking, but by refusing to act. He simply stood there. And sometimes silence is louder than violence. Because Jacob wasn't confused. He wasn't shocked. He wasn't frozen. He made a decision to let Roman Reigns face the consequences of his own actions. And if that's true, then Roman Reigns has a massive problem. Because Jacob Fatu might be the most dangerous person Roman has ever alienated. Unlike other members of the bloodline, Jacob doesn't need Roman's approval. He doesn't need Roman's spotlight. He doesn't need Roman's validation. What makes Jacob dangerous is that he knows exactly who he is. The Samoan Werewolf. A force capable of standing on his own. A force capable of becoming a main event threat without the bloodline. And if Jacob truly believes he's been used and discarded, then Roman Reigns may have created a monster he can no longer control. That's what makes the future so fascinating. Because now there are multiple fractures forming inside the bloodline at the same time. Solo Sikoa has already broken away. LA Knight has joined the fight against Roman. The Usos are once again caught in the middle. And Jacob Fatu appears to be drifting further away from the tribal chief every single week. Roman spent years building an empire. Now that empire is beginning to crack from within. And history has shown us something very important about the bloodline. The most dangerous threats never come from outside. They come from family. If Jacob Fatu eventually turns on Roman Reigns, it won't just be another betrayal. It could be the moment that finally destroys the bloodline forever. Because unlike previous challengers, Jacob knows exactly how Roman operates. He knows every weakness, every strategy, every pressure point, and that's a terrifying thought for the tribal chief. Roman Reigns thought he was rebuilding the bloodline. Instead, he may have been creating his own downfall. On August 17th, Jacob Fatu didn't save Roman Reigns. He didn't save the Usos. He didn't save the bloodline. He stood back and watched. And that decision may have changed WWE forever. The Samoan Werewolf is no longer just an enforcer. He's no longer just a weapon. He's becoming something much more dangerous, an independent force. Thank you for watching the Ringside Observer. Now I want to hear from you. Was Jacob Fatu right to let Roman Reigns fall? Has Roman Reigns taken Jacob Fatu for granted? Will Jacob Fatu become the man who finally destroys the bloodline? Drop your answers in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because more WWE breakdowns are coming soon. And I'll see you in the next video on the Ringside Observer.